So we're all set. I can plug it. How is that possible? From water?
I'm sorry. I am so nice meeting you. I was wondering what
No problem. Wow. Yeah, well, I just know the webcam, so I'm not somewhere. Could be other people sitting on it. I'll find it. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to begin in about a minute, everybody. If you could find your table, that would be good.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Let people filter in, please find your table.
How are you doing? Good. Recovered from the trip and from lunchtime today. You were shattered. Thanks very much for sacrificing.
No, that's okay. I went straight home and slept. It was quite nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Brent, your host for this evening, long-term CATA friend, champion of innovation, and teacher of how to do good interviews. Paul, join us again this year.
Thanks so much, John. And I met John back when I was a television reporter. And actually, next week marks 43 years in the broadcast business for me in one way or another. And one of the best parts of the job has been following the technology industry. It's been great. Now, my first question for you tonight is hot enough for you? You know, Ottawa is the second coldest capital city in the world. Number one is Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia. But we do have scorchers here. And John wanted me to say, if you want to take your coats off, go right ahead. You might then want to put them back on if you're coming up for a photo opportunity. But yeah, feel free to take your coat off. It is a hot one. Now, for those of you who have received John's emails over the years, asking you to follow him on social media, it seems to be working. He's now reaching out to about 1 million people. And that's... That's pretty amazing. So I want to do a quick social networking test. Show of hands. How many of you are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat? Okay. Start tweeting, start posting, start sharing about tonight and details of this celebration of technology in Canada. Hashtag on Twitter is CATA Gala 2017. Let's see if we can't trend Canada's Technology Awards. I also wanted to say hello to those on Facebook Live. This camera and laptop right in front of us is going to broadcast the evening to the Facebook audience out there, and it will be archived and will live forever, whether you want it or not, in a digital world. Now, how many of you are first-time attendees at CATA Award? Terrific, terrific. Welcome. For me, this is my 17th time as Master of Ceremonies, and it really has been an honor over the years to watch this annual focus on some of the outstanding tech people, companies, and programs in Canada. And as I say to John, nobody's throwing any buns at me, so he keeps asking me back. Let's think of tonight as the Stanley Cup finalists in the world of technology. How many hockey fans here tonight? And yes, we do know the Sens are playing in town tonight against the Pens, and we'll keep tabs on the game, or certainly you can. It doesn't start until about 10 after 8, though, so you know we'll try and get you out of here early enough that you won't miss the best part, which is always the overtime for the Ottawa Senators. Now, tech these days continues to be just an astonishing story. The list of changes that are altering our lives is impressive, and it continues to accelerate. And I'm sure you all realize the difficulties of that, keeping up with change. Robots, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, digital transformation, digital assistants, 3D printers that are producing things from body parts to car parts, cybersecurity, hacking, ransomware. Doesn't that part just make you want to cry? For those who've been following the latest. Social media, this one just stuns me. Deep neural learning for computer systems so they can be much more intelligent. And also neural nets that may one day provide that direct link between our brains and the computers we want to use. Business analytics, blockchain, the list goes on and on. By any measure, the global technology industry has been stunning in its growth, outdistancing almost any other economic sector over a sustained period of time. In Canada, the growth for the last several years, about 7% a year, and projections indicate global growth will continue at its current rate, so that likely the tech sector will grow at twice the rate of the global economy. In Canada alone, ICTC estimates 216,000 tech-related jobs will need to be filled by 2021. That's just 4 years away. No wonder talent is one of the big things for every company to try and find. By the way, topping the list of jobs right now, developers, software architects, data analysts, those are the things that people are on the hunt for. Now, you can also look at the return on equity in tech. On the stock markets, tech companies are dominant players almost every day. One example is Shopify of Ottawa, up over 130% in the past year on the New York Stock Exchange. And in Q1 of this year, investors put nearly $500 million US into Canadian venture capital-backed companies. And that's a 10% increase from Q1 of last year. But there are challenges, and one of the leading ones is the role of tech and how it's perceived in the creation and/or the destruction of jobs. It's estimated somewhere between 30 and 50% of current jobs will vanish due to robots and artificial intelligence. One economist predicts it will be more likely that people will have an uprising in anger long before we get to Skynet or superintelligence. That people are not happy. They believe the perception that tech is destroying jobs, and somebody like Mr. Trump loves to feed upon that. Silicon Valley actually has started a campaign in the last couple of months. They're going across the country trying to explain to smaller communities how what happens in Silicon Valley is in fact helping their community. And there are some good examples of it, but even they admit it's necessary for them to improve the way they hunt for talent and develop companies in the smaller communities across the country. No firm plan on that yet. They have to get the ear of Washington politicians. That brings me to President Trump. It's interesting that he said recently he found the job of president a lot harder than he'd imagined. I guess he should have done a little more research on the job before he took it. I think Trump, to me anyway, is like the weather in Canada. Don't like it right now? Wait 5 minutes, he'll change it. He'll come up with something else. And Trump actually may end up having some good influence on Canada, making us a whole lot more attractive for a lot of people and companies in the sector, the tech sector, who think, you know, we could do business in Canada and sell into the United States. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Trudeau garnered a lot of points with his innovation budget in his talk of promoting innovation, putting up investment money, changing the way government programs are run to assist companies. Let's hope the execution is as good as his business plan. And finally, let me finish with the observations of Alan Bernstein, president of the Canadian Institute for Advanced Research. It was formed 35 years ago. Global research network provides hundreds of scientists at 133 universities around the world with millions of dollars in research money. And he believes there are right now many reasons that Canada has become increasingly attractive to a whole lot of people. And he says, this is our time to be bold and to take advantage of what's happening in the country. So I hope you all are bold and take advantage of the opportunity. Now, I'd like to recognize our major sponsors who have done so much by adding their support to our event tonight. First of all, our sponsor host, Carleton University's Sprott School of Business.
Bravo.
Yes, bravo. The award gala sponsors, the Telfer School of Management, University of Ottawa, TELUS Health, Wilfrid Laurier University, PL Law, the Peter Brogy Foundation, ICTC, Ottawa Business Journal, Mitel, EY, CGI, Sprott School of Business at Carleton University, Keshet Technologies, CAMSET, Martello Technologies, Motorola Solutions, and RBC. Quite a list, John. Very good. Thank you to all of our sponsors. So I'd now like to welcome John back to the stage to get things underway, to make his opening comments, and then introduce our keynote speaker. John?
Don't go too far, because I have a present for you.
Oh, present. All right. Air conditioning?
By the way, you can start your salads. That's the whole idea. Please.
That's your speech?
Pretty good one so far.
Thank you, Johnny. A for Carleton, graduate of Carleton, by the way. So, I guess it paid off to some degree. If you recall last year, well, those of you that were here last year, I gave a little bit of a tech update, which is basically how I'm embracing technology. With the Fitbit, which buzzes after 10,000 steps, with a posture device that keeps me straight, with an overspending alert that goes to my iPhone that rings if we spend too much on Starbucks, for example. Now, what's interesting about these devices is they kind of take over your lives. But one thing I did do throughout the year is I posted accomplishments on Facebook. So some of you may have seen I've already trekked across Japan. I've climbed enough stairs to reach Mount Everest. And I've kept an average pulse rate of 60 while doing this. So, I think that's pretty good metrics. But I have another technology, and I have to find someone in the room. Is there anyone in the room that takes notes with pen and paper? Oh, yes, it's so ideal. Terry Matthews. Terry, you stand up. No, just stand up. I want you to identify who you are first.
Brook Street Hotel.
Okay, Brook Street, always selling. Now, Terry, one of our leaders, takes notes, checklists, signs things to people. Well, I do that too. But Terry, he's standing up now.
This is not complicated. In a court of law,
Yes.
if you have it dated in pen and list who's at the meeting, in a court of law, that's admissible as evidence. Yes.
That's good to know. I guess my next question, Terry, is, did you microwave your notebook before coming here? Did anybody microwave their notebook before coming here?
What's a microwave?
Well, I have my notebook, and it's called the Wave. And I do my lists, for example, met cybercrime executive, Kevin should follow up. So I write that down and maybe a couple of other action items. And then at the bottom, I'll put an X to Kevin. I'll put an X to my Google Share, and I'll take a picture of that with my iPhone. My notes are now on my drive, and Kevin has got that email, all with my wave paper notebook. You're behind the time, Terry. And when the notebook is full, I put a half glass of water in my microwave. I turn it on for a minute. I get to start again with a fresh notebook. So I'm working to keep ahead of you tech guys. Next year, I don't know what I'm going to come up with. I thought the notebook was cool. Also last year, I do a little bit of an advocacy update. And I think Bruce is here. Summarize 12 campaigns that we've undertaken in the last few years that have been successful, that have made material changes in terms of the terms and conditions, the operating climate for tech. And people came to me and says, we had no idea you did this much. I also made a forecast last year. I said, we'll have an innovation budget. So if you look at the CATA platform, the one-page platform, and you cross-reference that against the federal budget, you will see that every one of our policy planks is in it. We're now working with the Prime Minister's office and others on such things as a small business innovation program for high tech to stimulate SMEs. Russ Roberts is working on a single agency approach to manage the 147 programs that don't have measurable outcomes. And we're doing other very specific things to make things more supportive of growing our tech industries. So that advocacy is very important, and I'm getting people to contribute to it today. They're doing their 45 seconds, tell me what we should do next. We will use all of that. Now, I wanted to close with answering a question that someone asked me last year. And there's the photo. They said, John, how do you do so many videos? And I say, well, it's easy. So I want to explain, and Rick, maybe you'll know running Mitel that things are so easy in tech. If you look at that picture, you will see some wireless earphones. There's cables behind it. I bought those for $100 after Paul called me and said, John, great video, but I really hate wires. So I thought wireless, there's going to be no wires. So I did it again, and Paul called me up. So I didn't realize it was going to be wires. So then I called, I did some more research, and I found in China they do an earbud for $15. I thought I'd order that. And that didn't come because we were going, we're going to Arizona. So then I found another earbud, and that was going to cost me $80 in Canada. But I was going to the US where they deliver the same thing for $15. So I got that, got the wireless earbud going. Also, you'll see there's such things as a Logitech C920. Now, you need these for the best video. Now, immediately after you buy this, they tell you the mic is no good. You need to buy a blue mic. Okay, so I buy a blue mic. Then you're doing Facebook interviews, and your iPhone is good, but to get the sound right, you need to buy a, what is it called now? Let's see if I can find the name of it here. I don't know, an iTech plug. So now you're buying more and more. You're trying to do work quickly, so you get a wireless keyboard. You use a phone system that plugs into the internet. The trouble is the phone, if you accidentally, while doing a video, shift it off of tone dialing, it doesn't work. I spent 2 hours on the helpline getting help with it. So anyway, we've got everything working. We haven't done anything yet. We got to turn the computer on. So you turn the computer on, and you've got Google Livestream that changes their platform literally every 2 months. You've got to keep relearning that. You got Facebook Live, which is another medium you have to use. Because you got to get videos from across the world, you need a YTD video downloader. I mean, you can't live without one of those. You then, since the file is big, you got to compress it using a Handbrake video. You then have to set up the social networks, which we've done for 3 years, countries, companies, technologies. and you haven't done anything yet. So all I can say, it's easy. So I wanted to end my update on technology and advocacy with a gift for Paul Brennan. I am now officially giving him his wireless earbud.
Thank you, John.
Enjoy the gala.
Oh, you're up next.
Again.
Introduce Mr. McGee. Oh, that's what I'm here for.
How
Keep
could
in
I-
line.
How could I forget? Our keynote speaker, Rick McBee, CEO of Mitel, more than $1 billion company, led to be many more in Canada. Come join me on stage.
Innovation at Mitel today is more important than ever, and it's imperative that we innovate to grow and survive in this industry.
You know, without people, you can't have ideas, you can't have innovation. They're really what fuels what we do here at Mitel.
People are becoming more and more engaged across the organization, learning new skills and new technologies and applying those to build better solutions for our customers.
You know, change is hard, but that's what's going to keep our company alive through this through these times of change.
And that's going to allow us to create a path to growth and a path to success for our customers.
It's an internal driver for me. It's what gets me up in the morning. It's why I became an engineer, and it's why I'm here at Mitel.
Well, thank you. That's not a commercial. That is something that happened last week at Mitel, where we had over 70 different people, 30 different projects, representing 15 time zones around the world. And what this was an innovation summit for Mitel. So employees, engineers, and actually it was open up to anyone, could actually say, look, I've got a new idea and I want to build a prototype and I want to show it to the rest of the engineers. And that's what they did, 30 of them. It was probably the most inspiring thing that we've done, to see the kernels of innovation. Actually, our VP of engineering, I was talking with him, and he actually said over the weekend, every weekend, he actually went back to coding his project at home. And he said he learned a lot about innovation and driving innovation. Tonight's a celebration. At the end of the day, we're here to celebrate winners of leadership, entrepreneurism, and innovation. Now, I think it's kind of fun that it's hot, and I'll tell you why. Because if you ever had to speak on the big stage, let me tell you, everyone's sitting out there, and they're doing really good, it's really cool and all that stuff. And if you've got the bright lights on you, it is this hot. So we're all in the same boat together tonight. It's great to be speaking in this kind of venue, for sure. You know, winning in the turns. I talked to Paul, and it's you know, business is moving so fast. And he mentioned to me that, you know, he interviewed me the third week that I was here, and reminded me that we've doubled the size of the company since that original interview. And we led that right here in Canada with the innovation of the employees that we have in Canada. You know, winning in the turns has really been a theme for me. And I'll talk about that a little bit, about how winning in the turns, and this is a period of turn. It also became kind of fortuitous for me when I looked at this chart. It was kind of like Mitel's history. If you kind of look at all the zigs and the zags that we've gone through, but I'll tell you this, you don't make it coming up on our 45th birthday as a company. 45 years. That does not happen unless you're continually innovating and reinventing yourself in a technology world that is ruthless. That is ruthless. You have to be moving quick. And, you know, we're fortunate to have Terry, who started the company for us, with us here tonight. If there's a guy who knows about entrepreneurialism, he's sitting right there. He knows what it is to take an idea and make it real and make it executable. So I talked about how ruthless it is out there in the business world. The reality is, if we look at this chart, 52%. That's how many companies are left from 2000 and the Fortune 500. 52%. Half are gone. And if we look forward, it's estimated that 45% of the companies that will be on the Fortune 500 in the future will be from emerging economies. And I can tell you the emerging economies are moving very quickly. They're moving very quickly. So that's a note that's very important to all of us in this room of how fast we need to move. Digital transformation is kind of a word that we all hear and everyone kind of nods, but I wonder how many people actually know what it is or feel it or sense it. I can tell you what my definition of it is, and I can tell you I'm feeling every day. It's connecting people, it's connecting data, and it's connecting machines. Any one of those combinations, or all three at the same time. To fundamentally transform your business. How you operate your business, how you deal with your customers, how you develop products, how you source materials. It was interesting, at Mitel, we had a lot of initiatives going on to streamline the business and make the business stronger. And one night, I was sitting there and I was saying, you know, digital transformation, that's what we're doing at our company. We're enabling digital transformation of communications and collaboration, but we're doing it ourselves. Half the major applications in our company are actually running in the cloud today. Running in the cloud. We operate in 114 countries. We used to have 14 or 15 ERP systems. Now we're moving to one, operated in the cloud. Think of the productivity and efficiency that we get when we move things to the cloud. So the digital transformation is real. But it provides a tremendous opportunity for innovation. Tremendous opportunity for innovation. You know, the classical definition of innovation is a new idea, device, or method. That's what innovation is. A lot of times people think of the biggest innovations in the world that just fundamentally transform the world. I like to think of the little innovations because anybody can innovate and increment. Anybody can have that idea to fundamentally change their business, their practice, or offer a new product that can change someone else's business. The key to innovation at the end of the day is to make sure that you're solving a customer's problem. I don't put a period at that. Solving a customer's problem that he's willing to pay for. Because you can solve a lot of customers' problems. But in business, if he's not willing to pay for it, that's a charity. So you have to have the right balance. But when you find that customer's problem, and it can be big or it can be small, it can be a slight modification, you can have a winning business. For innovation, you also need an environment. An environment to create and to try new things. I tell our organization, fail fast. Think about that. Fail fast. Because if you're afraid of failure, you'll never start. You will never start. And there's nothing wrong with failing fast. Because you can review and adjust. You can figure out, oh, that didn't work, but maybe this would. So innovation, the environment, an environment that's willing to try things and quickly is very important to be successful as innovators. And as we look at the awards tonight, I think we'll recognize people that, you know, we're true innovators, we're leaders. And I guarantee it, not everything worked exactly like they thought at first, but through perseverance and sticking to it, it did. It did. The other thing is ecosystems. And I love this picture. It's about as complicated, it's got as many parts as you can look at, and the reality is you don't have to do every part. Ecosystems are important. They're very important. You just need a piece. With that piece, you can build. That's what we're doing. We looked at the 30 projects at our company. They were little add-on things. We had a couple home runs, guarantee you. Not telling you what those are. They're coming though. But they were increments to make the customer's life easier. I think this is an important thing, and I'm going to talk about business in Canada in a minute. I think it's an important concept to keep in your mind. The ecosystems give you strength. They let the small company be big. They let the big company move fast at a small company speed. The other thing is pick something and get it going. When I talk with our organization, a lot of times, we take risks. We don't gamble, but we do take risks. You have to take risks to be successful. And a key aspect of taking risk is picking what you're going to do and getting going. Now, you're going to review and adjust. You might have to do a lane change down the road, but you will never get the opportunity to change lanes if you don't start. If you don't start. Then it's pedal to the metal. Let it go. Let it rip. It's interesting. I talk with our organization. Obviously, we bought a lot of companies.
Rich, I think that was taken in the Ottawa area.
3 weeks ago, this was taken. You don't want to be by that river. I was driving to work. Terry was there. I'm on the right. The reality is, if you don't go fast, you can't fail fast. If you don't have a few failures, you're not going to be successful. And that's just life. I tell our organizations, like I said, we bought several businesses before. And I know in the acquisition process, sometimes the guys come in, they got the old droopy face. This deal's dead. This is not going to happen. And I always say, hey, let me tell you, you're going to have 3 near-death experiences before we have success. So the good news is we only got 2 to go. We only got 2 to go. It happens every time. We just announced through MOU that we're going to be acquiring the Toshiba assets, a great asset for us. Good footprint in Canada, too. I remember the guy came in just a few weeks ago. Oh, this deal's not going to happen. It's dead. It's not happening. Graham, we only got 1 more near-death experience to go. And then it's going to happen. And that's just business. That's the way it happens. Canada. Is Canada ready to shift? And that's the question I would put out. Because when I look at Canada, and I've had the opportunity of living here twice now, 20 years ago, then I'm back. Now I've been here basically 6 years. And what I've seen is Canada has an incredible set of assets. Digital transformation, there's more opportunity today than there's ever been. It doesn't matter whether it's security, artificial intelligence, wireless communications, collaboration. You just go down the list, and every one of those technologies intersects with Canada. If you think of the long heritage of technology companies in Canada, they all had bits and pieces of that. They all had massive amounts of innovation. And now, even with some of the Trumpisms, that gives Canada a unique position once again. So the opportunity is there. The opportunity is actually there, and it's right now. And the difference, I think this time, government's getting involved. Government is saying, hey, we're going to help incubate these businesses. And if you look in this local area, there's a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. There's Buy Canada. There's clusters. There's LSPAR. There's all sorts of things happening to facilitate and foster that start. That start. But I have to say, having witnessed and operated in all parts of the world and having the opportunity to do that, I know the billion-dollar idea is sitting in this room. It's sitting in this room. Somewhere in this room, someone's got a billion-dollar idea. There's no question in my mind. The question I have in my mind is, will you do anything about it? Will you do anything about it? Will you fail 3 times to make it a reality? Will you use all the resources that are available to be successful? Will you use the ecosystem and say, I'm going to build this piece, I don't got to build all this? Take that part, take that start. Because that's the one thing that I've noticed different between a lot of the countries that I see and I operate in. I've been on the West Coast of the United States, so I've seen all that, how that works. I've been in Asia, I see how all that works. The reality is speed. It's not the ideas, it's not the resources, it's not the support. Canada has all of those, all of them. What it has to work on, to improve, is to take that idea and make it a reality. And the biggest fallacy is you got to do it alone. There's now more support for businesses to innovate, to take and grow businesses than there ever has been before. That's the opportunity. That is the opportunity. CATA is helping in that area. You heard about the things I talked about today. The reality is it is a huge opportunity. So I think about how I describe it to our teams. I describe it this way. Think big, move fast, start small. Don't worry about the big thing. Take the idea, get it going, develop critical mass, and leverage the ecosystem. Leverage the ecosystem. Now, tonight, I know it's been hot in here, and I understand that. So you've shared my pain, and I've shared it with you. That's good. There's another thing happening tonight.
What are you cheering for?
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not the biggest name here. I know who is. And they've been doing a great job solving problems. And at the end of the day, you know, we have a part of that. There's a big game tonight. We're excited. We're very excited. But I don't know if you know, in this room, we're right there. Mitel is right there. So the thing that I'd want to leave you with tonight, I guess the best way to conclude this little talk is go Sens go.
All right.
My name is Jeff Pablo. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Development for Senator Sports and Entertainment. Senator Sports and Entertainment owns and operates the Ottawa Senators Hockey Club of the National Hockey League. We also own and operate Canadian Tire Center, a 20,000-seat sports and entertainment venue. In any given week, we might host a couple of sold-out hockey games and then need to convert the building for a concert or a family show. We transition from operating a 220-person office environment to hosting 20,000 fans here for a hockey game. And it's really important that our communication system allow us to adapt to those different operating environments. Having multiple sites with staff located across the Ottawa region, it's really important for us to be able to have that seamless communication system so that staff, regardless of which environment they're working in, are able to connect and collaborate with their peers. And having that mobility feature built into the system really allows them to operate efficiently and seamlessly across those locations. So the communication system a lot of times functions behind the scenes, but you'll notice it here when you're watching the game. You see the referee come over to the timekeeper's bench. When they need to communicate with the booth upstairs, that's our communication system in action during an NHL hockey game. Bottom line, we have confidence in our communication system. When we host a hockey game or a busy concert, we have a million operational details to worry about, and our communication system just isn't one of them. We know it's going to work, we know it's reliable, and we know we can focus on what matters most, which is delivering a world-class fan experience. We know now that when fans call in, that they're going to get connected with the right person on our team every time. Our communication system is really the backbone to allowing us to deliver that fan experience. Going into the future, as our communication needs continue to evolve and continue to grow, we've got confidence that through our partnership with Mitel, we're going to be able to continue to meet those ever-changing needs.
So, Rich, if the Senators win tonight, we'll all thank you and Michael. Great speech, great advice based on real life experience. It's not just wishing and hoping and dreaming, it's what it takes to get the job done. And that's pretty important. And you've got a heck of a responsibility to head up one of Canada's tech icons, as you say. 45 years and still innovating. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask John Reed back up on stage to present our first award for the evening, the President's CEO Community Leadership Award. And a quick note to all the winners, when you come up here, we do want to immortalize you in digital video and in digital stills. So there is an X on the stage up here, and that's where you're going to stand when John gives you your award. And we would ask that the sponsor join them, and we'll get the three of you immortalized. And then we also have a video room set up, whereas John had indicated we're looking for that 45 seconds to a minute. What's the one thing Canada needs to do to get moving? So, John, pass it over to you.
Here we are mining the room and getting all the good ideas. I want to shout out to the Mitel team, Amy. You know, when you reached out to me, many months ago, we talked about the need to set a context and messaging for go forward innovation advocacy in Canada. You know, I think you guys pulled it off A+. We will use this throughout the year. This will help us propel some of the changes that we need. And on behalf of the CATA team and everyone here, I want to recognize all the hard work you've done. Thank you again. You may have noticed we have a birthday party for the Information and Communications Technology Council. 25 years old they are. And with that, we wanted to recognize the CEO community leadership of its CEO, Namir Anani. Yeah. Who I've known for many years. He's close enough that he can actually walk over to my home office and have coffee. So we keep each other in check. He's the one that, with his research team, has quantified the skill gaps that we have in some of the strategies and programs we need to bridge that talent gap so that we can grow our companies. But let's find out about this guy. Now, he's president and CEO of ICTC and a driving force behind some significant research and also advocacy in education, in entrepreneurship, and really validating some of the proposals that go forward the government. If you don't have it validated, people really don't listen to you. So you're doing a great job at creating that research footprint. We enjoy working with you. Now, prior to joining ICTC, he worked in both the public and private sectors, including the CRTC as executive director. I know that's close to your heart. The Department of Canadian Heritage as Director General, CGI Consulting over there, Nortel, we can still mention, in Novartis in Switzerland. I didn't know that you were in Switzerland. I must have enjoyed that. Under his leadership, ICTC has expanded its reach across Canada by becoming a trusted research body, by coming up with talent solutions, by putting together practical policy proposals, and really helping foster a better environment for high-tech growth in Canada. Namir is a champion of public policy research. He has been for many years. He's passionate about Canada. He's passionate about the digital advantage that we have to exploit. And he's a very strong citizen of Canada's tech community. So Namir, I can't think of a better person to win the award this year. Congratulations, and join me on the stage for your award.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir, Monsieur Dam. It's certainly a great honor to receive this award, specifically on behalf of ICTC, both the board and staff, a very passionate team that with the aim of advancing the digital economy in Canada. And it certainly coincides with 25 years of ICTC's existence, but also with Canada 150. But I'm certainly honored to receive that from CATA Alliance, which I consider one of the powerhouses in policy development and also advocacy that shapes the discussions and the debate on the innovation economy in Canada. And you know, I can't help but think, but we live in a very exciting times. I mean, Canada has consistently been identified as one of the top countries to live and to do business in. What not to like about it? We have the best talent, the best educational system, strong financial and fiscal policies. Our tech hubs and entrepreneurial capacity is increasing in leaps and bounds, and we've got very innovative companies. We are certainly destined to make a strong splash on the international stage in the next number of years. So with this, I would like to say thank you very much for this award, and certainly an honor to work with you in the future for advancing a more inclusive and innovative innovation nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Namir, and congratulations. Dinner will now be served, and we'll resume with the awards after dinner. Please do enjoy the dinner, and dessert is going to be out there in the CATA Cafe after we finish the awards tonight. So that will allow us to get right back to the awards and get them done, so we can head out to perhaps a TV to watch a hockey game. A reminder, please do tweet, post, and share tonight. Hashtag CATA Gala 2017, a couple of tweets already out. Amy McLeod, CEO Rich McBee opens CATA Gala saying, Mitel innovation in labs around the world inspires him every day. Val Thomas, digital transformation is all about connecting people, data, and machines. So thank you very much for your tweets. Keep them coming. And we'll be back shortly. Enjoy your dinner.